We almost got to go home early.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I, yeah. No, the goal is to get done. Get done.
Have you?
I don't know where it went. Because I went like that and it was gone. It wasn't squished on me. I didn't see him fall on the floor. So I'm thinking he went and he went back under. What do you no? What do you bet he shows his cute little? If we want to allow it, then we can. Yeah.
Calling to order the Parowan City Council meeting for July 11th, 2024. It is 6:04 p.m. Our prayer person is absent, which is John Dean. He usually assigns that.
You want me to do it?
That would be wonderful.
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful to come together as a city and a council to talk about this great town. Please be with us as we discuss the items that are on our agenda, that we may do what is best, what is in the best interest of the city. Please bless those that are ill and cannot be here today, that you will watch over them. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Can you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you.
Council Member Toppin.
And thank you for coming out tonight. I'm excusing Councilmember Dean and Councilmember Downey, who are both absent this evening, and our city attorney as well, who is dealing with the fires in Marysville.
I'm kind of alone over here.
You are. You're far away. You have to get you a horn, a hearing horn and a speaking horn.
I thought you just put me in the corner.
All right, so are there any conflicts with the agenda items by the city council members?
No, Mayor.
No, Mayor.
No, Mayor.
Okay, great, thank you. And then now we have time set apart for you, the public who are here. Public comment is 2 minutes, and you're welcome to come. You don't need to say your residence, your address, or anything. You can just state your name. If you'd like to come up, the time is now yours.
Hi, I'm Kevin McClellan. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I think I'm here on the wrong night, probably. I was in Alabama working on a house while the hearing for Mr. Emery's property across from Eagle Rock was being heard. Although I have no problem with Mr. Emery, his property being changed zone and turned into whatever is reasonable for the city. We have had problems with Mr. Emery for years and years, 7 years in fact. And I hope that none of you have been on the city council for 4 years, because 4 years ago I sent a letter to the city council begging the city council to help us, to help Eagle Rock dealing with this guy who has been a menace to Eagle Rock. He has lived, I say illegally, I don't know if that's the right term to use. But now he is asking the city for zone changes, asking the city for help.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you know it's
Please do.
It's not Russ requesting.
No, that's great. No, it's great. If you let me finish.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure.
No, you're great. You're great.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Dan. No, you're great. My concern is what the city is gonna do about it. He is still there today. And so for this group to ask, the city to make some changes on this property, yeah, the changes that should happen first would be, I don't know, Russ Emery moving stopping what he's doing illegally for all these years, assumably dumping his sewage into Parowan Creek, moving his corrals off the street, which are not that big of a deal, but, again, you know, he has animals on the street harassing folks who walk their dogs. That is a great road, by the way, for people to walk their animals up and down, their dogs up and down, and he makes threats when people walk up and down that road with their dogs. It's a horrible thing. And the thing is, we are the bastard child of Parowan, and we have been for years, and we don't want to be that anymore. We don't want to be treated that way anymore. We would like to see the place be great for the new families that move in, and we just hope that Parowan City will treat us as if we're, I don't know, you know, your neighbor, your next door neighbor. Treat us like we're your next door neighbor. Don't treat us like we're somebody on the outskirts of town who don't deserve as much as maybe your next door neighbor. The other concern I have about this proposed change is we were beat up when we were trying to make some changes with the Eagle Rock and build stick-built homes in Eagle Rock. About the road not being up to par and the road not being, you know, it wouldn't support the traffic. We ended up doing a chip seal road, which we ended up paying for initially out of pocket for that development. Is the road going to be taken care of? Is the road going to be up to par? Is it going to be paved and taken care of in the future for all of this new traffic? These are a couple of the concerns I have. Is you know, we would like to see. We don't want to be the bastard child of Parowan anymore. We feel like we are as important as any other community in Parowan, and we hope that you guys think of us that way when you are making a decision on the properties around us. So, thank you so much for your time. And if Dan wants to respond.
No, I just wanted to say that the property that we're looking to rezone was sold by Russ to the new property owners. So we're not doing anything for Russ or being asked by Russ.
And he
still owns a parcel there.
Right, which is amazing. It's awesome. So we are still he's still there and still living.
Right. No, and there's definitely that friction there. I get that. I wasn't trying to take exception to what you were saying. I just want to clarify that the zone change is not his property.
Yeah, no, and I figured that's what you were saying when I brought it up. So I didn't mean to cut you short, but I basically understood that. So, anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nobody's wiggly, so we're going to move on. So coming out of public comment into our consent meeting, these are items that are administrative by nature, and we are usually able to approve them with one motion. Item number 5 is the approval of the City Council meeting minutes from June 27th, 2024, and item number 6 is the approval of the warrant registry for July 11th, 2024.
I move to approve the consent meeting agenda items 5 and 6.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Moving now into our action meeting, this is item number 7. It's the introduction and ratification of a new police hire, Officer Mike Blake. And Chief Adams and Mike Blake are both here, if you both would like to approach, so we can all see you, and we can hear about you and learn about you. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, this is Mike Blake. We've been testing for 2 new officers, one to replace Officer Dobrinsky. We ended on Officer Blake. We worked together for Cedar City PD for probably close to 10 years. He's been in law enforcement a lot longer than that. We feel felt like he'd be a great addition to the department.
How long, Officer Blake, have you been in law enforcement?
Time is yours.
Oh, boy. All, coming up on 29 years, total in law enforcement.
And you were with the ambulance before that?
Yeah.
Or what was
well,
it, was it ambulance or?
Yeah, I started my public safety career in about 1993, with Iron County Ambulance. I worked for them for, even after I started my law enforcement career, I worked, in EMS as well. I think I was in EMS for about 12 years. I started my law enforcement career with, Bryan Head Marshal's office. I was there just as a part-time guy. Went to the Iron County Sheriff's Office, was there for almost 2 years, and then jumped ship to the Cedar City Police Department, where I spent about 21 plus. I semi-retired from law enforcement at that point to concentrate on my duties in the Iron County Commission. Ended up going to work part-time for Enoch City Police Department, where I've been for about the last 5.5 years. Then this opportunity arose to come back into full-time law enforcement, which does amazing things for my retirement. And I still really enjoy law enforcement. It's something that I still enjoy coming to work every day. Over the last, I've been in the Iron County Commission now for about 7.5 years, and I love coming to Parowan. I spend a lot of time in Parowan in that role, and I've really grown to love the city. I've had a lot of opportunity to work with you guys in your role as commission and mayor. This is just a really great place, and I look forward to being able to serve the community here differently than I have in the past. I don't think you could ask for a better department within the county. The officers, the staff, it's just a really cool place. I feel really blessed to land here for the twilight of my career. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We're very grateful to have you. And I could take a picture of you smiling. The one
I saw your camera.
the one I took,
Do
you
I
looked
take a smile?
miserable. I was just thinking, Janelle stepped out, and she always likes, if she has something, she tries to put little things about Parowan in the paper on a regular basis as a freelance writer. So, does the council have anything they'd like to say before we ratify our new officer?
No, thank you for accepting the position.
Oh,
I did get a picture I can send you.
I am really happy about it. I'm excited about this opportunity.
I think they got you covered, but you're welcome.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
So I'll move to, ratify Mike Blake as the new hire for Parowan Police Department.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like clapping.
We're gonna clap. Okay. Excellent. So that,
Swear at him or in?
Dave got all excited.
Raise your right hand. I, Michael Blake,
I, Michael Blake,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of Utah,
the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, maybe that's where we should have
Yeah,
clapped.
now
Welcome to our show.
Huh? Yes, welcome to our show. No, I want to shake it. So you better come back. Can we shake your hand?
Sure.
Oh, he's been on duty. You never know what he's been doing today, so.
I know.
All right, this next item is we had a vacancy as a in our public defender position, and, we were able to award, that opportunity to someone really amazing and awesome, so we'll have Dan Jessen tell us about that.
And I'm going to subdelegate this to Keith. This position works closely with the court. Keith is our court clerk. Keith, why don't you tell us about how this works, why we have a public defender on contract?
Obviously,
Anything else you want to say that's productive?
we have a public defender on contract because we have constitutional duty to provide defense for litigants that come through the Parowan Justice Court. So I guess it was a couple weeks ago, we received an email from our current, public defender contract, and he was, took on another job and basically couldn't fill his role, so we put some feelers out and, narrowed it down to Krista Nelson, who I've known and have seen in practice for about 13 years now. She's great. She'll be a great advocate, for her clients in the court. Currently, there's about approximately 10 cases is all that, have a public defender, assignment. Not all defendants, even though you hear in the, you have the right to an attorney, blah, 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 blah. That's not really the case. Only if there's a threat of jail time are they really entitled to a public defender, and even then it's based on income, things like that. So, so she's got about 10 cases that she'll have to weed her way through, but I know she'll do good, and it'll be nice to have somebody, truly advocating on behalf of them, so.
And she does currently do work in defense, in the Iron County she's contracted with the Iron County Justice Court as well. Who works with, does she still work with the park firm?
She's still with the park firm, and so she still practices in a multitude of areas, but yeah, she does do other.
So this will be a side gig, but it's kind of it's a nice little side gig. It's not a huge load. Certainly not anything that would rise to the level of an employee, just, anyways.
Keith, just curious, didn't Judge Carling used to do public defending?
Yep, he was our public defender before he was our judge, so.
Yeah.
And Krista couldn't be here tonight, but I asked her if she would come, just so she could introduce herself, and so she's gonna try to come next time. She was traveling and didn't make it back in town in time. The nature of the contract is it's a very simple contract. There's no term. Either party can end the contract with 30-day notice. So it's pretty boilerplate. It says that they'll provide services. Our city attorney has reviewed it. He has to be a little careful in reviewing it because he acts as the prosecutor, and you don't want to have your prosecutor having sway over the defense. But just acting as our attorney has reviewed the contract and says it's a legitimate contract. So he didn't involve himself at all in any negotiations and fees or anything like that. That was handled by administration. But
It'll be nice to watch those two go head to head.
All right, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about the contract itself? Like I said, it's pretty straight up. We will be paying her a flat rate of $750 a month, whether it's one case or 10. That's what it is. So some months it's a little bit of a windfall for her. Other months she's going to earn it. The reason why we do a flat rate is because the reason why I really like this done, I've seen it done different ways at a former city that I was at. They had it on an hourly basis, and it kind of provided an incentive for the defender to stretch cases out as long as possible so that they could rack up the billable hours and then try to get a settlement right before it went to court or something like that. So a flat rate, we're just looking for quality work, and if we feel like the quality isn't there, we can end the contract. If she feels like $750 isn't enough because we're overworking her, then she can end the contract or renegotiate. So it's pretty straight up. Anyways.
Is this what the rate was prior?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, there's no increase over the prior guy.
So that's in the budget?
Yeah.
No change to the budget. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the public defendant award to Krista, who now I keep thinking of her other last name. Nelson, thank you.
It used to be Guyman.
I'll make a motion to approve the public defender contract to, is it Krista Nelson? It's not on the screen anymore.
Krista Nilsson.
Krista Nelson.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you. The next item is my recommendation. We had a vacancy on our Board of Adjustments. That board meets only if there is, someone who wants to appeal, and it's the last step before they would take the case to a court. And that vacancy, I am proposing to the council be filled by Michael Edwards. He has agreed to do that, and with your approval, he will be added to that Board of Adjustments.
I'll make a motion to appoint Michael Edwards to the Board of Adjustments.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Now we are moving to Stacy Gale, and she'll be presenting to us the approval of the annual temporary beer event permit for 2024 for the Iron County Fair.
Hi. This is just the annual, temporary beer event permit for the Iron County Fair. They do this every year. It'll be from August 17th to September 2nd, and it just needs to be approved through council.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, I move to approve the annual temporary beer permit for the Iron County Fair.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Stacy.
Is there any way we can get a cut out of that?
All right, now moving to our approval of our fiscal year 2025 fee schedule, and it's pretty extensive as it always is. Hopefully council's had a chance to review that, and our city manager will be covering just the changes.
Yeah, so this is, most everything in here is the same, as we've had in the past. I have the changes highlighted in red, as we go year over year. We're actually deleting the reference to the hangar lease, because as we've been working through the hangar lease process, we will be doing renewals as contracts go out, and there will be adjustments made in the rate that is paid. So as we have contracts roll out, there's adjustments. There's also adjustments that will be made based on the existing contracts that have a clause in there for an increase. Most of the contracts that are existing have a clause, and most of them are tied to a CPI number, is something that it will raise annually. We haven't been doing that. But as we do that, we're gonna have different hangars on different rates. Any new hangars will come in, will be at the same rate, which has an increased provision, but for a while, things are gonna be, everybody per their own contract. So it will not be a flat rate established in our fee schedule anymore. So I'm just deleting it. There's no real point to have it in our fee schedule. It'll be just contract by contract on the hangars. That's why that's gone. We updated, oh, you know what, that's 'cause I pulled up, hang on, wrong one. The only one I had were the changes that I made. This is the changes that were made. Every year we reach out to any department heads and see if there's any proposed changes by them. So, okay, these are, of course we're evolving and adopting our city rec program, and including doing new things that have never been done. And so we needed to add those things into the rate schedule. I don't know, we've had pickleball, was it not in the schedule?
It was under events, we just moved it.
Okay, we moved it to rec. So we have flag football, junior basketball, pickleball, soccer, adult softball teams. Oh, it says right here, moved from events and new. Okay, so it was a change in the way it reads in the fee schedule. So, but the fees didn't change, the ones that were just moved, right? Okay, so those are there. If you have any questions, flag football is $20 a registration fee. Adult softball teams $65 per player. Which, by the way, if this meeting ends soon enough, the mayor and I are on a team that is playing at 7:30.
And so far, we've only lost once.
And I'll be playing in a shirt and tie, because I didn't bring my, but I don't know if we'll get done in time.
And Keith claims he can't use my
We will if I
glove
stop
because
talking.
he's a lefty.
Talk faster.
Dave Harris said I hit my quota last night of words. So, no, actually I said that, but, theater, we're adding nonprofit groups. No, that should say, no, 'cause nonprofit groups have no charge. Oh, that's for a weekly, if they take it for the entire week. 'Cause I'm like, it's no charge for the nonprofits, that's on a day use. There is a charge if they take it for the entire week, and it's $200. Just a clarification on the language of marquee, backroom rental, no charge. That's just a minor change there too, so. It's pretty simple. We debated, I added language on water development fee. I think that's it, so I'll close with that. Yeah. The water development fee and language about meters, basically all I did was I added in the, we did not have a connection fee if they get larger than a 2-inch meter. That's extremely rare, but we've had some commercial stuff lately, and we just have that at cost. 'Cause we usually don't stock those. When somebody comes in, they're ready, they apply, we look and see what the cost is for that meter and bill them directly, so. And then I added language in here about the water development fee. We do not have a water development fee under most circumstances. However, we did have it as an in lieu of, if there's required to bring water rights to the city per our code, which is required on annexation or subdivision, or if they upsize their meter, and that's the way our code reads. We did add some language that says if they're just going from a 3/4 inch meter to a 1-inch meter, we did not want to have to make them go out and buy a fraction of a water right, go through all the real estate stuff, the transaction at the state, just to be able to make that small upgrade. So we have an in lieu of water development fee, and it's just based on the market rate, cost determined by market rate for pre-December 1949 underground water on the most recent analysis, and we do that analysis every couple of months as needed. The other time that it could happen is if you're, under our code, if you do a single lot subdivision, you can either bring us the water right for the new lot, or in a single lot subdivision, you could pay the market equivalent of that. That's the only two cases where you can do a water development fee, and we just didn't have it in our code, or in our fee structure, so that was added. And I put in there in parentheses, only when allowed by ordinance. I don't want people to get the feeling or come show our fee schedule and say, look, water development fee, you need to take this. So that's why it says that. So anyways, those are the changes to the fees, year over year. You can ask, or, anything you wanna change or ask about or have a discussion on. We do need to update our power rates per the, plan. But we realize that we cannot adjust rates. These are fees. We cannot adjust utility rates without a public hearing, and we didn't want to just couch it in a fee schedule anyways. So we will be having a public hearing to talk about how the power rates will be evolving. It's not just a rate change, it's changing the base rate down and adjusting the variable rate up in this case versus that case, and all that stuff that we've been talking about. So we'll have a dedicated public hearing to that, probably next time. And so, but it's not included. The rates and everything that are in here are just the same, so.
And I don't know if, just for like a second, you could clarify or explain. So we're doing a current water study right now, and we may have some impact fee changes and things, so the council would see that at another time. Yeah, but before we change rates, anything like that, we'll have definitely a bigger conversation.
Well, isn't this, these rates on water based on the current tier system that we approved?
Yep. In fact, that's what I happen to have it open to right now.
Yeah.
Here's your tier system. 0 to 8,000 gallons is the base rate. and then this is your incremental, gallon rate.
'Cause that was
On the
changed,
tiered
that was
usage.
5,000, then they changed it to 8. Yeah.
And that's why it's a good thing
Thank you, Councilmember.
we changed that.
And
Yep, good catch, Dave.
Great catch. 'Cause that one bothered me.
No, great catch.
It was-
We had already adopted that, and taken action. It just hadn't been put in the thing. Good catch. I thought we had already got that. And I know that I updated it. It's probably on a different copy that it was updated, so we'll have this, the official version at the bottom.
I would like to leave it at 8, 'cause I'll go over every month.
Well, then don't go over. I don't know if everybody heard that little transaction, but.
All right, so with that, I would invite a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 fee schedule.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Oh.
roll call.
no.
Oh, sorry. So roll call vote. We'll start with Councilmember Burton.
David Burton, aye.
Dave Harris, aye.
Rochelle Topham, aye.
All right. Motion carries. Thanks.
I'll send you that, Kelly.
Now we are moving to item 12. We need to clarify and update our water board members. We ended up with an additional member on the board, and so that has been discussed now, and we're just going to kind of almost just reapprove this water board with these.
It was just a little vague, and, the water board was, they themselves were kind of like, well, we're not really sure. We had talked about, not having more than 2 members of the water board that were in ag, just because sometimes there's a conflict between ag and municipal. We love of course, the water, expertise that our farmers and agriculture, bring to the table. They understand water probably better than anybody. But when we got done and we talked about that, so we went and grabbed somebody else to be on there. That's when we went and grabbed Kurt, but we didn't really ever specify whether Sam Halterman was still on the board or not, and he was kind of confused, and I said, that's fine, let's just take it back to city council and reestablish what we're doing. We also don't have a chair, and the code doesn't say, in most places with our boards and committees, it says whether the council appoints a chair or whether the body itself appoints their own chair. The code is silent on water board. And Sam Halterman was the chair. So I said, you know what, let's just because it'll be nice and clean, let's take it to city council, let's decide how we wanna do it, and we can either just designate a chair, say who the members are, and then we'll just update the fee and update the master spreadsheet and inform the water board this is what we're doing. Or if you want, you could let them pick their own chair, because again, it's silent in the code. So who we have is we have Kurt Best. He's our newest member that was chosen. And it was a question whether he was filling a seat or whether he was replacing Sam on there. And we have Coy Stoll, Doug Fox, Carol Ray, and then by a code, we have to have a city council person on there, and Dave Burton has already been selected to be that person. And then the question was, is Sam Halterman still on there or not? And my understanding is that he was not. Everybody else was a little, and I didn't want to be the guy saying you can't be on the water board. He'll still come to the meetings. He'll still provide education and input as a concerned citizen and with a wealth of knowledge, because he sat in that role. How long was he in that role?
A long time.
Long time. So, and he's great.
Dan, what happened to Tom Gurr?
I think he asked to be removed,
I think he did ask to be
taken off.
to be replaced due to health
'Cause he
reasons.
came not knowing whether he was still on it or not. I don't
Oh,
want.
was somebody else was asked to come off because of health reasons? I can't remember who that was, but.
I don't either. I think Tom hadn't been coming.
So we only have a 5-member, and one of them is you, so we need only 4 other members. So that's the issue here. Now, here's another thing to consider. Sorry, Rochelle. This is important and
No,
may
you
change what you're about to
asked
say.
Yeah.
We have talked about changing in the code that they have to be a Parowan citizen or not.
Right.
This is a good time to discuss that, because Carroll Ray is not in the city boundaries, and neither is Coy.
Right.
So if you wanted to, at this time, change that, we have enough members that are willing to serve that you could make that whole. At the same
Well,
time,
I think we discussed that that's what we wanted to do. And just not with the water board, but make it consistent with all the boards and
Right.
committees.
Do either one of them pay water bill to Parowan City?
no.
They are totally off, okay.
And the reason why, just to remind this people that are here listening, the public, the reason was multifaceted, but one of the reasons that was discussed, even though the water board doesn't set the rates, is that they should be a Parowan citizen, because if they're gonna have input in what we're doing and things that really matter, water really affects citizens. Certainly the decisions that we make affect the bill sooner or later. If we go into debt more and we have to raise the rates, or if we are spendthrifts, or if we are really conservative with whatever, it does affect Parowan citizens, and the thought is it should be a Parowan citizen, so there's some accountability there. That was why the discussion was, right? Was there any
Yeah.
other reason why we were talking
Also
about it?
because a lot of the other committees say they have to be a
And some
Parowan
of the others
resident,
say it,
and
yeah.
this is, I think, the only one that doesn't say you have to be a Parowan resident.
Oh, there's a few that
There's
don't.
a few.
There's a
So we were saying to bring consistency to all of
Yeah.
the
Yep.
committees and boards, so that every committee and board,
And Coy is
that
fantastic
you
on
be a
there, and so is Carol.
Mhm.
And we have told them
Carolyn.
that this might change because of that, if the council wants to. And they were fine with it. They said they're willing to serve, and they would understand if they were asked to be replaced because of that. But,
So those are kind of the two dilemmas.
yep, those are the dilemmas.
'Cause if it's not changed, really, anyone in Cedar City could be on this board.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the chair piece is easy for me. I believe they should appoint their own chair, because that allows a person to be nominated and to agree to it, as opposed to being assigned to it.
Yeah, otherwise you would have already had to have figured that out and asked
Mhm.
them and see if it was good and make a recommendation type thing.
So that one, to me, if the council agrees, is fairly easy, that they could appoint their own chair, and
Yeah.
that could happen in a meeting and be,
I'm fine with that.
agreed upon.
But I think the council agreed. We gave, I think, you the assignment, Dan, to go and restructure these committees.
Well, we would have to rewrite our code in a few
Yeah.
places, and this would be in chapter 7. And, yeah, no, both of them are in chapter 7, 'cause essentially our water board is technically two boards. It's the irrigation committee
And the culinary.
and the culinary committee, but we appoint the same people to both boards. But we need to actually rewrite our code to do that, and that's what you gave me the assignment to do, and it hasn't been
Well,
done.
yeah, it was just not just specifically the water
Right.
board, to bring consistency to all the boards.
Yep.
So I say tonight, we adjust these two, even though they're really great people, and I know that they do a really good job on this committee. But if that's our intent, is to make
Yeah.
sure that they are a Parowan resident, then we need to change that tonight.
I agree.
So what would you do? Would you actually have Sam and Tom instead of Coy and Carol?
Yeah,
Probably for now, yeah.
Yeah, for
Unless
now.
they have,
That doesn't cause any other weird issues or anything? Sam and Tom are both willing to serve?
okay.
well, that's why I say unless they have issues and don't wanna serve,
No, I think they're both game.
okay?
That was half the issue, is that we had a lot of people, and
And that also solves the two ag, because there would then only be one ag.
yeah.
Well, I guess
Right.
unless you count David Burton.
Dave Burton.
So if we still need to replace, if we need a new member, then that can also be
No,
part.
that would be fine. It would still be good. And there's nothing that says we can't have 3 ag. That's been I don't know where that came from.
I think it was just a concern that it's a diverse group.
I'll take my spurs off when I come. I'm sorry, I'm wearing them tonight. I'm getting
That-
I actually, I totally get the reason and I get the concern. What I hate is the conflict that there is between municipal and ag, and it's always gonna be that way. Right now, I think we have an amazing relationship. We have the city working together with multiple agencies. In fact, the city sits on many of these companies,
Yep.
And we have a really good relationship right now. It won't always be the case, 'cause sometimes there's an issue that comes up that naturally puts us as on different sides of an issue, city versus ag. But I think we're good. We don't need to officially make that a thing, but in this case, by changing that, we wouldn't have that conflict anyway, so.
Well, now I just had our legal attorney's counsel in our retreat, which is Caesar's wife has to be beyond reproach. And that makes me feel like Sam Halterman should come off. Just because he is ag and he is my husband.
But you'd have Sam Halterman, Dave Burton. That's your only ag. So that's 2, not 3.
It's a council decision.
No, I'm just saying, I thought you were assuming that now you'd have 3 people again.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying if there is a concern about there being too heavy ag.
I'm fine with it. I don't see it being a problem.
I think with those individuals, there will not be a problem.
All right.
So I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
So with that, the motion is going to need to include basically 3 points. The 2 out-of-city members coming off, the 4 being, Councilman Burton, so the 5 being ratified. And then the 3rd, how the chair is going to be appointed.
And we would need to say who is replacing who, 'cause they're gonna replace their terms.
Okay.
I mean, if it comes down the road and you think there is an issue, then we can,
Yeah,
somebody else.
city council can change it, absolutely. There's a fail-safe.
Or they can individually request, or
It-
whatever.
To me, the bigger risk is having people on there that don't understand water.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on the one side of the scale, that's the bad side. On the other side of the scale, they understand water, but they're so focused on their own perspective of their farm that they're not thinking in the city's best interest. You know what I'm saying? So that could be the other side of the scale. That, either side of those 2 things would be bad, right? So.
But I think in this case, I think it'll be fine.
I'll make a motion.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but when I walk in there, I take off my hat right here, and I wear the council member hat.
Yeah. It's the nature of many of our boards, economic development. We get people on there that are business people and that understand it, and of course they have that kind of leaning, that tent. Our airport board, most of them are hangar owners, right? It's the way it works, so we just have to keep the checks and balances. Oh, yeah.
So Carol Ray's term there's quite a bit longer time on Carol Ray's than there is on Coy Stoll. So when you decide how you're going to replace them with who, consider that as well. And I guess the only piece we don't have is Tom Gurr's term or Sam Halterman's term, or does that not matter because they're just taking the other person's term?
They would just
Look at them as,
replace
yeah, they're
the
just
term,
replacing the
Okay.
term.
and then we can do them.
Callie, did you just change all those?
I did.
Dan did.
Okay.
I'm gonna give the
I was
control
gonna
back to
mention that.
Callie in a minute.
All right, so with that, if we don't have any further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
Let's see, how would you do that then? I make a motion to, we've got to, I guess, make the motion to,
I just
Some
say
way to-
replace this person with this person, that person with that
what
person.
about the ordinance?
And we'll address the ordinance at a future meeting.
That's
We're gonna
what I'm
have to do
saying,
that.
We can't do that.
Not
We can't
tonight.
change that
So
here.
tonight, it really is just about the committee.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to update the water board members to, replace Coy Stoll and Carolyn Ray with, Tom Gurr and Sam Halderman.
Which one's replacing which? Respectively, like you said it?
Yeah, that's, how did I say it?
Tom and then Sam.
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
okay.
I'll second that motion.
It would be just like I typed it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And then we'll give you the assignment to deal with the ordinance and bring it back
Thanks for the reminder.
anytime.
So, we would need, I guess,
Yeah,
a
and we'll
second
just put that on the
motion
next agenda that they are gonna appoint their own chairman.
to determine the chair in that.
Do we need to
Wait.
make that motion?
I don't think so. We'll just do it.
Okay.
'Cause it's in, it's
When we
filed in
update the
ordinance.
code though, we'll clear that up.
Okay.
You guys can decide how
So
you
we're
wanna
not
do that.
changing anything. It's
We're not
just-
changing anything tonight.
Right.
We'll just have them reappoint their own chair.
Okay.
All right. Item 13 is the zone change request from commercial to R3 zone in parcel A-2019-0003-0000. And Dan, I don't know if you wanna introduce or you wanna introduce? I don't know which one of you was
Sure.
prepared to do that.
Yep. Well, first off, thank you for having us today. I'm Brody Swanson and my mother Jody. We've been working on this for a little while now, and we do agree with the gentleman who was up here, initially, that Russ Emery is really hard to work with, and if you guys send him a cease and desist order, then maybe it might entice him to take the offer that we've given him that's on the table for him right now too. So, we'd love to have the zone changed from commercial to R3 on the 10 acres and hopefully, potentially in the future, have the 7 acres as well. So, yep, that's me.
So you've purchased it, you do own it?
Yep.
Well, there's two parcels.
Correct.
There's a larger parcel which they purchased, the 10-acre parcel.
Yep.
And then there's a parcel that's closer to the flood channel I'm trying to think of his last name, that Emery still owns.
Is there any way to bring that up, so I physically can I see? I'm more of a visual. Or can you explain exactly where it's at for me?
Yeah, so,
They're directly across the street from Eagle Ridge, Eagle Mountain.
Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock.
So they're not clear, you're not clear down on that other corner, you're straight across the
Correct,
street?
we're literally just
Okay.
straight across.
So, right, if you turn right, you're in Eagle Rock, on the left is the property.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. I just suck at directions, so I need give me landmarks.
So
Well, I
to
gave
give
you
you
left
more,
and right instead of north and south or
Yes.
east and west.
And I probably shouldn't say anything, but, he says if there's anybody here that's been here 4 years, well, I have, and we've dealt with this individual, and anyway, it's been very difficult. We tried.
I gotcha. We have as well. We're trying hard to get him off that land, for sure. We don't wanna deal with him either, being next door. So, yeah.
well, and
It wasn't like we didn't try.
Okay, I see.
And we're not done. There's ongoing code enforcement, things like that. There is, and I hesitate to talk about what isn't on the agenda, but I realize it's related. I realize there's public comment about this with that. But yeah.
Okay, so does the council have any
One
other
of the things I
questions
wanna
on
say.
this agenda item?
So let me tell you a little bit more. So this went to planning and zoning with a public hearing. Some of the considerations on this was the fact that it was zoned general commercial, and this is not the approval of a subdivision. This is a rezone from general commercial to R3. R3, of course, is a zone that they are requesting with the anticipated subdivision, which would be applied for. And they're talking about doing, something, I don't wanna put words into your mouth, but they do wanna do something that is denser than like single-family R1. And so they've requested R3. Planning Commission looked at it pretty intensely. Our general plan does not have this as residential. However, there is residential across the street. R3 is in this area, especially if you go between the two exits, you have R2, it moves to R3. This seemed at least like a reasonable place to put R3 right by an additional subdivision that is very similar to that. Eagle Rock, got it right that time, is a PUD. A PUD is basically a development where they can get a little bit denser. They have an HOA where they have control of their own roads. They have common space. We're not sure 100% what these guys are going to request, maybe you could tell us what you're kind of thinking, your vision or something like that, but this would be something at least similar. Obviously, we just barely approved a conditional use permit for them on a different parcel to have a sales office to sell manufactured homes, and I believe their intent is to do a PUD with manufactured homes in it.
Correct.
Maybe you tell us more about that so the council knows. I think they've been following, but.
Yep. So, our plans are to do a PUD with manufactured homes that come with turf, out front. So we do the landscaping and the maintenance of the front yards. Nice rock walls, so you have privacy, very separate from your neighbors. And yeah, manufactured homes that are coming straight from the dealership, sells back and forth. So, these homes get shipped down from Boise, and we've done a few up north now, and my mom has actually done 2 of these other subdivisions, in the past, and this one is just a little bit more thought out and a little bit more visible from the freeway. So, other than that, I guess, are there questions that I could answer for you guys?
And that would be approved later. That would first go through planning commission with, pretty intensive review of a PUD, and then it would come to city council. Even though it's a conditional use, that's one of the conditional uses that comes back to city council. So, this is just to approve the zone change. But I think it's always important if the applicant is willing to tell us what their intentions are, to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at.
Yep. So last time I was here, planning and zoning meeting, I had a plat that I didn't bring with us today. But 60 units, obviously in a 10-acre R3, it would allow to 90 units, just density, but we don't plan on getting that big because we want to make it a very nice subdivision. Pickleball court and whatnot, little playground for the kids and stuff. So keep it as nice and as clean looking as possible.
Does our planning commissioner have anything to add?
I don't know if Dan mentioned, so that this comes with a positive recommendation from the planning commission after reviewed, and you were all furnished with that plat, before this meeting. And also you were furnished the public comments from the public hearing regarding this. There was really only one, what I would call a negative comment, or in opposition to this, and it was really based in some things that we're not really allowed to base opposition on, so I'll just leave it at that. And, the other comments were not opposed, they were actually, okay with it, and there was one concern with, when we get to looking at the layout of the roads, one of the commenters asked that they not be directly opposite of each other, like a four-way stop sort of a thing. Not sure if that will work out that way, or if it even needs to, but that was one of the comments, so.
You're talking about lining up with Eagle Rock.
Yes, yes, exactly, thank you. Really, that's about it.
Right.
We did have somebody, I believe, that wasn't able to attend,
That was
wanted to.
who spoke in public comments.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought that you were gonna have them,
No, they went ahead and spoke and left. So
Okay.
that was the comment that they wanted to make and didn't know if they should do it at the agenda item or during the public comments. And so they did that during the public comments, so we're covered on that as well. And shout out to Judy for getting those minutes done in time for this meeting.
Yes, Judy.
Judy.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes, that was quick.
there she is.
I was impressed.
We would actually like to do that more often, so when we have these public hearings, especially negative comments, we want to get those to the council ahead of time, so you have full, options to consider those comments. I would also like to say just that this is really, these will be potentially affordable housing in town, which I think is a step in the right direction, and I think it's a good placement for housing like that in the vicinity of Eagle Rock. Thank you.
Right.
Any questions?
Thank
I think
you.
it's a good location for this, so
Yeah.
it's a perfect location for it.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Okay, that'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the zone change request from commercial to R3 zone on parcel A-2019-0003-0000.
I'll second it.
And is it a roll call on this one, Callie, since it's a zone change? Councilmember Burton?
David Burton, aye.
Dave Harris, aye.
Rochelle Topham, aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Looking forward to hearing from you again. Thank you. You don't need to stay through our work meeting. You're welcome to leave. Thank you.
We don't have a work meeting.
All right, now moving into reports, updates, old business follow-up by elected officials and staff, and I'm just on a roll with Councilmember Burton if he's ready to go.
Okay, we've talked about most of the things that planning and zoning address, this public hearing for this, zone change we just take care of. There was a subdivision plat amendment, on lots 24 and 25 Heritage Hills subdivision, 841 south, 859 west, I guess, or what do we, this got the wrong address. Anyway, it's out in Heritage Hills, and they basically combined a lot. Took a lot, 2 lots, put them into one. And that was approved by planning and zoning. And then they talked more about the accessory dwelling unit code. Didn't we, Larry, or did we forego that? The accessory dwelling code.
I think you tabled it.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, And, Water Board didn't meet again because we had the Meisner meeting last night. And, I think we're pretty good. I mean, the 4th of July went well, all those that attended. I think we ought to mention Jet Smith did very well on those floats. I think that was that really adds to the parade, and there's a lot of effort into that. And that was, and all the activities, fireworks were great, and, I think, I'm just trying to think. Oh, we have had a lot of water meetings. I'm trying to think. I've had a meeting every day this week. We've had a lot of water meetings. We had one, Dan will probably comment on it, on the, not underground, the groundwater management plan. It's, tell me if I'm wrong, Dan, but I get they're gonna move forward with the proposed plan, and it's gonna be, a living document. Hopefully if things improve as far as the aquifer, that all these things, these recharge projects and all this, I hope will help, and the state engineer will cooperate with us so that we don't have those mandated curtailments, and,
And our water recharge project, is going well. We've had a couple meetings with Alpha.
I was
and
getting to
UDOT.
that, Mayor.
Okay. So that's our hope for also with the
Yeah,
aquifer.
I mean, exactly. We've been moving forward with those every other week, and the location, the route of that is they're trying to be solidified, and the diversion structure and so forth. So, like Dan said, I mean, and I've said many times, to see all these things come together, the alignment. This is a project that I hope they recognized. There was in that meeting, I was surprised at one opposition. But anyway, I think it was out of ignorance, because they don't understand all the variables that is gonna be, everything that's gonna be the positive, outcome from this, as far as like the bridge and of course the underground water management plan, but the flood control, I mean, it's just, moving that diversion that the farmers don't like, and they've been wanting to find a way to do that forever. And so there's a lot of things that are coming of this, and so it's a great project, and I'm excited to see it come together and hopefully see positive results from it.
And just the coordination, cooperation involved in the funding and everything coming together.
Well, yeah. I mean, gosh, when you have, $3 million come together for a small city and some farmers, pumpers, and so forth, I mean, that's an achievement. And we did meet with UDOT. Dan will go on about that. We've got to work on some crossings with them, or at least one, and it ended better than it started. And so hopefully UDOT will work with us and see and recognize the significance of this and their benefit in this project, because they will. The bridge is a requirement or a request or whatever you want to define it, as a plan of having to have an alternate route for closing that freeway down. So, you know, and then the floodwaters going under the freeway, well, it closed it once 'cause that wouldn't carry it and it went over the freeway. So, you know, this is all, it's gonna benefit UDOT as well. So hopefully they'll understand that and,
And the meeting did end better than it started, so
yeah.
we're gonna say it went well.
Exactly, so.
Anything else?
No, I think it's a good week. Oh, never mind. We got meetings tomorrow, don't we, Dan?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
All right.
I have nothing.
And I don't have anything else to add because you hit on the fireworks and we did the police officer tonight, so.
Hey, take it, Rochelle. I think they did, you know.
You can
Good
do whatever you
job.
want, I don't care. Did you take care of the ducks at the pond?
Oh, don't go there. Don't go down that rabbit hole now.
We need to call an organization
Oh, but you
out
know
from Salt
what?
Lake to
Somebody
capture them.
dumped some
Yeah.
more ducks down at Meeks Pond, and I took a picture and sent it to him, and he about lost his mind, but
Okay, Councilmember Toppin, thank you for reminding me.
anytime.
Yes, and the DWR has been notified, and we have had some, well, they're trying to determine whether those are abandoned and left there, or whether they're migratory wild ones, but
I think one was abandoned down there, I don't know
Yeah,
about the
well,
other.
it was witnessed. So, anyway, they said, give them the summer, DWR said, and then see what happens, and then if it stays there, then they'll come and take care of it.
Okay,
But-
it just concerned me after all the work we've put into that.
Exactly, so I think, and go ahead, take it, Councilmember Toppin, just please, I'm gonna plead to everybody, don't dump any more ducks in the pond at Meeks Pond. It's an urban fishery, not a duck refuge. We spent a lot of money, you know, dredging that and getting it, you know, back to where we
And it breaches our agreement with DWR to have
Yes.
ducks in there, so it isn't just a preference. We'd all love a pretty little duck pond,
Yeah,
but it isn't
we're-
part of the
we're-
MOU, and so it doesn't
We're
work.
obligated, we're obligated.
It's a real reason.
It
It's
is
not a
real.
preference to, we all love ducks. We all think they're cute and wonderful. We love to feed them when they don't get aggressive and attack our children.
But the problem is, I've heard people say they're feeding them and things, and so you know they're not gonna leave, so.
So I'll go instead of Dan since he's out there, and if he doesn't come back, we're just gonna close. So we covered almost everything as far as my updates. Several of the items that happened over the last 2 weeks were on the agenda, so we were able to get those voted through, and that was awesome. We've got a lot of really good progress going in a lot of areas and a lot of productivity, so that's really nice and good to see. As far as, pickleball court update, I did a post on Facebook today because I realized, like, people were seeing all the activity but didn't really know what was going on, so we did put that out to bid today, and we have 3 different contractors that are gonna be bidding on that project to do the concrete, and we are doing post-tension, and, we did receive a portion of our grant for AARP, so we applied for almost 50, we got 20, which seems great, like money's money and it's helpful, but, it basically covers shade structure and seating and leaves a little extra money for promotion for AARP, which is required to do some signage and things like that, but it's awesome. And we look like we're within budget. It'll be neat to see where these bids fall, and we're hoping that they'll be, in our favor to get that project done in the next, little less than 2 months. And that's the goal, the timeline is to have a Labor Day tournament. And it isn't as aggressive as people might think, because I've been in contact with the pickleball providers as far as, you know, not just the concrete, but also everything that goes onto the concrete to create the facility. And so it's just now a matter of saying, yep, we're where we thought we'd be, and it's, you know, we're getting to go time. And so that's out on social media, but I'll supply, you know, something to put wherever we need to put it for the community to see or pick up and look at. And I know there was an input meeting that Anna had yesterday. I haven't had a chance to follow up with her. She met with some pickleball players, and I'll catch up with her tomorrow, but she didn't answer my call today. Feelings aren't hurt. She was probably in the middle of something wreck. As far as the other thing, just really cool, I was at the meeting last night and Tom Zaleski was in the corner there and he just leaned over and was like, 17,000, which I knew what it meant. That was how much money they raised for Old Rock Church Days. So I had been waiting for that number so we could get excited and talk about it. And so far on bricks, I haven't looked again for 2 weeks, but we were at just over 3,000. So that's over 20,000 raised for the church to continue that renovation project for that historic, beautiful building that is just looking better all the time, and we're just loving what's happened so far, and I think there's a lot of momentum. This round of fundraising for the brick sales, we were gonna close it on Pioneer Day, just because, you know, kind of a neat little stop point, but we're gonna carry it through Labor Day, and that way when people visit Parowan, there'll be advertisements and things around for them to know that they could purchase a brick for their family or a memorial. Do you wanna step out and see if Dan has anything?
Mayor,
No, thank you. I don't know why I asked Rochelle the farthest away from the door. Thank you, Larry.
Okay.
I just wanted to
I would-
maybe ask, I noticed there was an issue with the pavilion at the park.
Yeah, the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah. We still need to do the roof.
well, it's like it's coming off.
Let's ask Dan. I know that we'd been getting bids on it because our Public Works did the roof last time, and the part they did stayed on.
Okay.
But the other part is now coming off, so we're starting to talk about a metal roof, and I know they were gonna look into, you know, the feasibility of that.
And then I noticed it says that had a surveyor go out and look at the bike park and pavilion. What was the?
So the pavilion is kind of a vantage point shaded area with concrete that'll have seating, so when families or people go out, they have a place to sit and watch the kids while they ride. So it includes a pavilion on that
This is at
facility.
the pump park.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's funded through the grant from the Utah Outdoor Recreation.
I just didn't know if there was some.
What was the question you had from?
Why the pump park said pavilion also with the survey from Platt, or from Steve.
But I also asked
Mayor
about
answered.
the pavilion at the park, the roof.
Why the roof is still off, and I told him the back side had been redone, the front side now has issues. We're talking about a metal roof now
We
to
were
make
waiting
it stop
for
happening.
the new budget year to begin, and so we just need to put it out to bid, 'cause we're now just barely in the new budget year.
But it looks like part of it's off.
Yeah, it came off with wind. It was
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, it's been off
4 months
for-
ago or something. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to like look up at it, but yeah, it came off with the wind, one of the heavy windstorms we had one evening
Freeze will-
several months ago.
Unless it's over a certain amount, then we do a formal bid, but.
But we're trying to avoid redoing it like every year, every other year, so we're really leaning to metal. 'Cause I think metal's gonna last.
Councilman Harris got me a couple of good vendors, and I have a third one in my pocket. So, in my pocket meaning, I already have a third vendor that I know to call. In my pocket could connotate something else. So, I'm just gonna give him a call and say, give me a bid, and let's do this. If it goes over a certain amount, we'll have to turn it to a formal bid, but I don't know if it will. We'll see.
Okay. All right, what are your updates?
I said I'm out. I hit my quota, so I'm done.
All right. We don't have a closed session tonight, so with that, I'll entertain a last motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
motion carries. Thank you.
Yeah, or we wouldn't have had a quorum.
No, we wouldn't have.
I forgot to ask the staff if they had any updates, but I already.
We would've found a way to stretch it out longer.
Thank you.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah, it's true.
I wanted to bring it up, but I didn't wanna go into the conversation, but it's a cool thing. So because of the way those houses are sold, we get sales tax